Continue with my short story lessons. All right, and today we're going to do something different. So instead of reading one short story, I have for us possibly 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 short stories that have morals and lessons for us to learn, but are also inspirational stories, life stories. Okay, and so there may be 5 or 6 paragraphs long, and we're going to work with those so we can get more discussion in, because I've noticed with some of my longer stories we don't get to speak as much. So today it's going to be less reading and more speaking, more discussion, but next week we'll do another longer story. So once again, I see that we have 10 viewers, so you guys should definitely join class because I can't start without you. And I'll just show you what we're going to work with first. And so let me go to screen share. And the first story we're going to read today is something called The Cookie Thief. So we're going to be reading a few stories, and as you can see, it's only a few paragraphs. It's pretty short, so maybe 10-15 minutes to read the story, and then maybe 10 minutes to discuss, and then we can move on to another story. So that way you can get some practice telling me about what you think about what you read and what happened, so answering questions in complete sentences. Alright, so hopefully you guys will want to join class. Alright, come on 13 viewers. We'll get some great practice in with vocabulary and grammar, of course. But also, I want to center this class around discussion. So discussion around the stories. Alright. Hi there, welcome to class.
Hi. Hi there.
So where are you from, Maria? Mariah?
Yeah, it's Mireya. I'm from Spain, but I'm currently living in London.
Okay. Oh, very cool. All right. And Gook leave?
Yes, hello.
Okay. Hello. And so where are you from?
I'm from Saudi Arabia.
Okay. And is it Gook Live?
Yes, yes.
Okay. It's hard to pronounce for me.
It's actually not my real name.
Name.
Yeah.
Just a name you made up for Burbling. Always smart.
Yep, you can call Fanfo.
Fanfo? Okay.
Yes.
I'll try and remember that. All right. And Frederic, where are you from? Welcome to class. Right. So we only have 4 students, so and we have 16 viewers. Right. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post the general website in Burbling chat, and I'll let you know the name of the story, so you can visit more of the links if you want to. Alright, so I'm in Burbling chat now, but I'm going to switch over permanently to class chat. We're going to be working with this website. And the first story we're going to, so when we get to this website, let me know if you have problems. And the first story we are going to is under the topic of list of moral tales, moral stories. Right? And we're going to number 16, The Cookie Thief. Right? Alright, how do I get rid of this ad? Nah. Okay. Is anyone having problems getting to the website at all?
No?
No? Alright. Okay. Okay, cool. So would anyone like to start reading for us?
Yes.
Yeah, all right, go
Shall I?
ahead. Yes, read the first 2 paragraphs, please.
Okay. A woman was waiting at an airport one night, with several long hours before her flight. She hunted for a book in the airport shops, bought a bag of cookies, and found a place to drop. She was engrossed in her book, but happened to see that the man sitting beside her, as bold as could be, grabbed a cookie or two from the bag in between, which she tried to ignore to avoid the scene.
Okay, good. Anyone else want to continue reading for us? Maybe the next 3 paragraphs?
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
So she munched the cookies and watched the clock as the gutsy cookie thief diminished her stock. She was getting more irritated as the minutes ticked by, thinking, if I wasn't so nice, I would blacken his eye. With each cookie he took one too. When only one was left, she wondered what he would do. With a smile on his face and a nervous laugh, he took the last cookie and broke it in half.
And just read the next paragraph for us as well, if that's okay.
He offered her half as he ate the other. He snatched it from him and thought, oh, brother, this guy has some nerve and he's also rude. Why he didn't even show any gratitude?
And anyone want to finish the story for us? The last 3 paragraphs.
I could.
Okay, great.
Where it was?
She had never known.
She had never known when she had been so galled, and sighed with relief when her flight was called. She gathered her belongings and headed to the gate, refusing to look back at the 15 ingrate. She boarded the plane and sank in her seat. Then she sought her book, which was almost complete. As she reached in her baggage, she gasped with surprise where there was a bag of cookies in front of her eyes. If mine are here, she moaned in despair. The others were his, and he tried to share. Too late to apologize, she realized with grief that she was the rude one, the ingrate, the thief.
Okay. So now what I want to do is some discussion questions. First, just about the context. So these questions are going to summarize a little bit of the story. All right. So who is the main character in this story? Who is the main character?
It's the woman who takes the plane.
Yeah. So we have a woman. We don't know her name. And where is she?
At the airport waiting for her plane.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And so, why is she irritated in the story?
Can you repeat it?
Yep. And I can write the question. So why is she irritated?
Because she's reading her book and she's trying to enjoy her cookies as well, but the guy who is sitting next to her, he is taking cookies which she thinks are hers.
Yeah, exactly. So just to repeat, so she is sitting down at the airport waiting for her plane. She is reading a book, and the man next to her is eating her cookies. And that's in quotes. So he's eating her cookies. And she's annoyed because they're not his. And what does she do with the last cookie? What does he do first as a sign of being friendly? What does he do to the cookie?
He afford and a half.
Yeah, so he breaks the cookie in half and he offers her half of it, you know, as a sign of friendship. All right, and what does she do instead of just accepting it and saying thank you? What does she do?
She snatched it from him.
Yeah, and snatched means to grab quickly. So she takes it out of his hands, in the way of like, what are you doing? These are my cookies, not yours. All right. Um, okay, good. And then what does she realize at the end of the story? Oh, sorry, my contact is.
But it was not her cookies that she was eating.
Yeah, so she realized that her bag of cookies are still there. And so that he was actually being a nice person. All right. So what is the moral of this story, do you think? Do you find a lesson at all in here?
Do not judge because you could be judged. I don't know.
Yeah, so I guess you could talk a little bit about judgment. So she shouldn't have judged the man and considered him rude when he was being friendly. So we can say holding back judgment. What else could we say is a lesson here for children and for us as well? It's one of those golden rules that we're always taught as little kids. Does she seem selfish? Selfish. Does she seem selfish?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
But not that much. I think it's kind of difficult to try to share with someone with, and he hasn't asked her for the cookies, so I don't know. I suppose it's difficult.
Yeah, so what would you do if you were at the airport or at the bus station and someone was eating your snack that you thought they had taken something out of your bag and was using it? Would you do what she did? Or would you say nothing? Or would you approach them? Would you say something to them? What would you do?
I'm not really sure.
You're not
I
really.
I'd
think
approach them and ask
And ask for what?
for why did they do this, and they should excuse or before they take something that is not for them.
Yeah, okay, so if we thought that they had stolen something from us, they should ask our permission. So we say ask our permission. You were so
Yes.
close to the words. And then if they had stolen it, they should apologize. All right. Yeah. And so does anyone think of any lessons out there? And we do have 18 viewers, so if you guys want to join class is not full. So I hope you guys will join.
Oh,
They are lifting.
Yeah, it looks like people are leaving and people are not joining class. I hope it's not technical problems.
There's also one thing about this story is that
Mhm.
don't interpret things in your own
Yeah.
fastly.
Yeah, and a way to say that, I know exactly what you mean. It's don't jump to conclusions.
Yes.
So don't jump to conclusions too quickly, like she did. All right, and that's great. So would you guys like to? I taught a class with a more difficult story. So you three seem pretty advanced. Would you like to do that instead of the simpler stories at all?
No, this is
I
fine.
don't mind.
Okay, just throwing it out there just in case. All right, so we'll go back to the main page. All right. And we'll pick another story. Where was it?
Positive thinking. 20.
I was looking for the one with a mother with one eye. It sounded very strange, but I can't find it. 1 second. No. So yeah, we can do number 20. That will work. All right, so since we have 3 students in class, we can equally share the reading. All right, so who would like to start at all? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Which paragraphs? Okay. So Frederic, would you start reading for us?
I will start. Jerry was the kind of guy who loved to hate. He was always in a good mood and always had something positive to say. When someone would ask him how he was doing, he would reply, "If I were any better, I would be twins." He was a unique manager because he had several waiters who had followed him around from restaurant to restaurant. The reason the waiters followed Jerry was because of his attitude. He was a natural motivator. If an employee was having a bad day, Jerry was there telling the employee how to look on the positive side of the situation.
Okay, good. So who is our main character here?
Jerry.
And what does Jerry do for work?
He's a manager of in a restaurant.
And what is unique about Jerry? What is unique about his management style?
His positive thinking.
And always in a good mood?
His positive thinking, his good mood. What is abnormal about, how friendly and how positive he is? There's something that happens that does not happen all the time, especially in the restaurant business.
The waiters that follow the manager?
Yeah, so it's pretty uncommon. I don't know what it's like in your countries, but for us, it's pretty uncommon for us to follow our managers. I work in a restaurant, and yeah, we have, it's called turnover, which means a lot of people come work in the restaurant. So all the servers were different every couple of years. All right. I just have a question, Madhu Ali. Are you having technical problems?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so you were getting kicked out?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. No, it's okay. I was just wondering. I like to ask. And it's been happening a little bit this week. Sorry to pause class. Did you get a message at all?
No.
No? Okay. I'll just let them know that students are also having problems sometimes. Hopefully I stay in class. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, we hope so.
Okay. All right. Okay, so back to the story. We have Jerry. He's a manager at a restaurant, and his employees love him. So when he moves from restaurant to restaurant, they follow him. Has anyone seen, before we continue with the story, a movie that has to deal with a teacher that people follow throughout high school and college? Has anyone heard of a movie called Freedom Raiders?
No.
No.
Okay, so
I'm going to
you should definitely watch it if you can. It's a very motivational movie, and just like our waiter Jerry here, she's a teacher, and she works in a school for underprivileged children. So a lot of her children are minorities, and they're in gangs, and this is taking place in California during the 90s with the gang warfare, and they're pretty uneducated, and she gets them into college, a lot of them. Most of them, she has graduate high school, which is very impressive for them. They're the first ones in their families to graduate high school. And she finishes high school with them, and then they follow her. She follows them, actually, to college. So she goes to their community college, and she has them. And she's teaching English, so thought it was a good connection. All right, so would anyone like to continue the story for us? Just to do some reading. All right. And
But I don't have a link.
okay. One second. we are, let me just post this. For everyone out there, we're doing story 20. I think it was number 20, right? Positive thinking.
Yes, 20.
Yeah.
20.
All right. And we're at the part that says, seeing this style.
Okay, just a moment.
And I have it highlighted on screen share.
Okay.
Cool.
Seeing this style really made me curious. So one day I went up to Jerry and asked him, I don't get it. You can't be a positive person all of the time. How do you do it? Jerry replied, each morning I wake up and say to myself, Jerry, you have two choices today. You can't choose to be in a good mood, or you can't choose to be in a bad mood. I choose to be in a good mood. Each time something bad happens, I can choose to be a victim, or I can choose to learn from it. I choose to learn from it. Every time someone comes to me complaining, I can choose to accept their complaining, or I can point out the positive side of life. I choose the positive side of life.
And then just this one line right here.
Yeah, right? It's not that easy. I protested.
Protested. Yeah. All right. And so we have another character introduced. Do we know their name at all? This second character? The
Jerry?
person. So Jerry is our main character.
Oh,
Yourself. It's
So
yourself. It's very
yeah.
important.
So the narrator, it's supposed to be, you know, like us. The narrator is supposed to be every person. So that's why they're not specified. The narrator is supposed to be every person, so that we can all learn from Jerry. So what is Jerry's philosophy for life?
in every problem he meets, he has two choices: to be in a good mood, to choose the right side, or to be in a bad mood and to choose the disappointing side. So he just chooses the good side, the good mood side.
Yeah. And so do you think this is a good lifestyle, or do you think that this is unrealistic to always be happy and positive?
You
What
know,
do you
life
think?
is full of problems, so no one can always be happy. No one can always choose to be happy. So he's just staying optimistic all the time, but this is not realistic at all because life is just going to be sad for him at some times, and he has to be sad. No one can always be happy.
Yeah, that's a great response. Anyone agree or disagree out there in class?
I disagree because even if sometimes it can be sad, but he can choose to see the optimistic way, to see the good things that happens, even if he's sad at the moment.
Yeah, so we have two sides. One being it's unrealistic. I think it was Midu. I like your verbling picture, by the way. That's unrealistic because bad things happen, and sometimes you do need to be negative and feel sad. But then Frederic is saying that it's a good thing because even when something horrible happens, you know, you're getting the best out of it. You're always learning. So there are two sides. Does anyone want to share their own philosophy on being positive or being negative in life? What you do yourself, or what you think is a realistic example to follow at all?
I would like to be more like Jerry, but for me it's very difficult to remain happy or being optimistic when things are just not working out.
I completely agree. I would love to be positive all the time, but sometimes, you know, you just have to cuss and cry and be angry. You can't always be happy. What about someone else out there? Would anyone else like to be like Jerry?
Actually, I'm more like Jerry, but
Yeah.
I don't see if it can be seen from outside. But from my side, I'm very optimistic. But I don't know if the people outside see me like this.
Well, I wish I was more optimistic. Whenever I see people who are, we have a term to describe them in English. So I would describe you, Frederic, as probably happy-go-lucky, which means you're positive. You don't have to be upbeat, but or energetic. That's one characteristic that you could have. But you're just a positive person, and that's what happy-go-lucky means. Maybe you're always smiling, or you have a pleasant air about you, which is another thing we say, pleasant air about you. So always smiling. All right. So that's how we would describe someone like Jerry. You know, he's happy-go-lucky. He's probably always smiling, and he's very pleasant to meet. All right. So would anyone like to continue reading the story? It's kind of a long part, if that's okay.
May I?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, it is, Jerry said. Life is all about choices. When you cut away all the junk, every situation is a choice. You choose how to react to situations. You choose how people will affect your mood. You choose to be in a good mood or bad mood. The bottom line is your choice how you live life. I reflected on what Jerry said. Soon thereafter, I left the restaurant industry to start my own business. We lost touch, but often thought about him when I made a choice about life instead of reacting to it. Several years later, I heard that Jerry did something you are never supposed to do in a restaurant business. He left the back door open one morning and was held up at gunpoint by 3 armed robbers. While trying to open the safe, his hand, shaking from nervousness, slipped off the combination. The robbers panicked and shot him. Luckily, Jerry was found relatively quickly and rushed to the local trauma center. After 18 hours of surgery and weeks of intensive care, Jerry was released from the hospital with fragments of the bullets still in his body. I saw Jerry about 6 months after the accident. When I asked him how he was, he replied, "If I were any better, I would be twins." Wanna see my scars?
Okay. All right. And can someone read the next couple of paragraphs, and we'll finish the story?
You
Shall
didn't
I?
highlight the upper one.
Oh, yep, sorry. Maybe not finish the story, but read the next small part here. Thank you. Sorry about that. So I declined to see his wounds. Would Wolfie, now that you're in class, would you be able to read for us?
Yeah. Which one? Which paragraph? I mean.
I declined to see his wounds. It should be.
Okay. I see. I
Okay.
declined to see his wounds, but did ask him what had gone through his mind as the robbery took place. The first thing that went through my mind was that I should have locked the back door. Jerry replied. Then, as I lay on the floor, I remembered that I had two choices. I could choose to live or I could choose to die. I choose to live.
Yep, and continue.
I'm sorry. Weren't you scared? Did you lose conscience? I asked.
Consciousness.
Yeah,
Consciousness.
conscience. I asked Jerry. Continue. The paramedics were great. They kept telling me I was going to be fine. But when they wheeled me into the emergency room and I saw the expression on the face of the doctors and nurses, I got really scared. In their eyes, I read, "He's a dead man." I knew it. I needed to take action. It's okay, or
Yep, good. All right, so In this section, what happened to Jerry? What did he do? And what happened to him in response to his actions?
He got shot.
He left the door open,
Yeah.
locked, and
So, yeah, exactly.
was robbed and shot.
So he left the door open of the restaurant, the back door, so where the office was. And someone came in wanting to rob him. And what did he do that caused them to shoot him? What happened with his hand?
Was shaking.
Yeah. So, he's at the safe and he's turning the knob and his hand is shaking. So his hand slips and the robbers get nervous. So they shoot him. I don't know. All right. And so he had 18 hours of surgery. And then what is his philosophy? So what is his philosophy when he is dying? What does he do?
When he was on the ground,
Mm-hmm.
he told himself that maybe he should live, he should choose to live or choose to die, and he chose to live.
Do you think it's possible to do what we call, in English, it's mind over matter? So what he's doing here is he's thinking and believing that he is going to survive, that he is going to survive. Do you think that actually works?
For him, yes, because I think he mastered this.
Well, if he had not mastered it, he would not be here to talk about it. So it worked.
Okay, yeah, so in Jerry's case, it worked. He mastered mind over matter. What about for us in class? Do you think if, maybe not shot, I hope no one gets shot in class, but if you were in a similar situation and you had no hope, do you think you could think positively enough and keep yourself alive? Or do you think that it's unrealistic that the fear would overcome you?
Who doesn't survive? Everybody wants to live. Yeah, if you ask someone, I mean, in a bad situation, everybody said, I want to live. Everybody, I think, going to choose. I mean, majority of people going to choose to live, survive. I mean.
All right, so let's finish the story. All right, good. And see what we can find from there. So we should be starting with, what did you do? And does anyone in class want to read for us?
May I again?
Okay,
If
yeah.
nobody else wants to read. Okay. What did you do? I asked. Well, there was a big, pearly nurse shouting questions at me, said Jerry. She asked if I was allergic to anything. Yes, I replied. The doctors and nurses stopped working and they waited for my reply. I took a deep breath and replied, Pullets. Over their laughter, I told them I'm choosing to live. Operate on me as if I'm alive, not dead. Jerry lived thanks to the skill of his doctors, but also because of his amazing attitude. I learned from him that every day we have the choice to live fully. Attitude, after all, is everything.
All right. So what is the moral of this story? What is the lesson we are supposed to learn?
I think
Jerry
the
is allergic
lesson
to bullets.
is
Yep, Maria, sorry. Are
No,
you
it
still there?
wasn't me.
Oh, nope, sorry. Who was it then? All right. Madhu, were you saying something as well?
Yes, I was saying that besides to think positively and be optimistic about everything, um, we really need to look at the bright side, as they say. So even if we are in the toughest situations in our lives, we have to think positively and choose what makes us feel more comfortable and more alive. Like to always choose the bright side, the good side, what makes us feel good, and never let ourselves to the depressing feeling because it may kill us.
Yeah.
And
So
the
you,
other reason is Jerry is allergic to bullets, I guess.
yeah, so that was a really corny joke. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So your attitude, your way of thinking, it can change everything. And that's a pretty important.
I think
Um, yeah,
it's
go
it,
ahead.
it's all about, in my opinion. I mean, it's all about on the article. People need to appreciate for their life because I don't know Jerry. I think he wants to show the life like a miracle. Everybody appreciate for taking breath for every day. But I think it's, I don't know. It's for me. It seems to me is a not lesson. It's his this article. It seems to me like a preach, give the moral preach in church or any other religions. I mean, not just only preach. I think it's a question if optimism or happiness were the ultimate human value and goal, there would have been no technological or cultural progress. I mean, especially if you know what I mean. Did you understand what I said?
Um, so yeah, this story sounds a little preachy because it's
Yeah.
for children. So it's one of
No, I'm
those
not saying
stories
children.
that's like,
I'm not saying just children. I'm just saying just little bit preachy, like a priest
yeah,
gives injury.
it's it's what we call evident. It hits you over the head uh, multiple times with the lesson so that you understand it.
Yeah,
Um,
but yeah,
I don't know. It's just a blog that I decided to use for today, so we could get more discussion in, to have shorter blurbs.
yeah, but no,
Um,
I mean, I ask question also. I mean, it's open question. Yeah, I mean, it's make me curious because in the article, is it people is it, this Jerry is really wants to live. Is his approach? Yeah, I mean, he's really optimistic view to the life. But I mean, if happiness and optimism were the ultimate human value and goal, there would have been no technological or cultural progress.
I
You
don't
can't,
think I
you,
understand.
you don't
Does
understand.
anyone agree or disagree with that? That we need negative aspects for improvement and for advancement?
I am going to write.
Yeah, because I, I think we need some failure to see where we made mistakes. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, to see how we can improve. But the question I want to leave for class to answer now is, can you tell me a story about someone who has overcome something through positive thinking or through determination? So do you know of any people? Any people? This can be friends, um, family, or someone famous um, who has overcome, who has fought for their life, fought for their life. And so I can start with an example. And this one is a movie, but it's based off of a true story. And I just can't remember his name. Movie where he cuts off his arm. So it's about the hiker.
I think
Yeah.
it's 27 hours or something like that.
Yeah, 127 hours.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's maybe not
I'm
fine.
so awful with names. I was like, what is it? So it's based off the true story, and he will not give up on his life. So eventually he makes the toughest decision, of all, which is to remove his arm. And as someone who is very active, that's a very difficult decision. But he doesn't let that stop him. So in the future, he continues his crazy adventures out in the wild. He's still a hiker and a climber and a biker, and he goes on wilderness trips, even after what happened to him in the woods, in the desert, getting trapped. So can anyone tell us something similar, or something that, positive thinking and determination allowed whoever this person is to continue on with their life?
I don't really know one particular example, but I've always heard that when you are sick or ill, it's better for you to be happy and to smile, because it makes you feel better and you recover, I think, easily, more easily than if you are just sad about it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's related, but the thing is, if you are happy, you are bound to recover sooner than if you are sad.
Yeah, that's definitely well known. Yep, I heard someone blurb in hello. Anyone else out there want to
Hello?
respond? Hello. Do you have an answer to this question at all? I don't know if you've been following. Okay. All right. What about some other people out there? So do you know any stories or any people that have overcome? Mariah, sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. I'm sorry. Awful.
No, it's not that bad. Don't worry.
Mentioned that people who are sick, more so than the flu. So, people who have cancer,
Yeah, I was thinking about this kind of
heart
illnesses.
attacks. Staying in the positive attitude will recover more quickly than people who are not willing themselves to live, and looking forward to life. Okay.
I think it's hope. Hope is important. If you lose your hope, you easily give up because people really tied to their hope. If they lose the hope, they can give up easily. Also, some people want to really live because they are tied to life. They connect to I don't know, kids, children, family, or something like that. They have valuable things in the life. They are not just live for themselves. They want to live for their kids, for their family. I mean, for their relatives, something like that.
Yeah, so not being selfish and thinking about other people around you as well. So
Yeah.
staying for them because they may need you. And of course, we want our family members to stay with us. All right. And yeah, hope. So that was a great word to bring up. Keeping hope. So I guess we'll go back to what Wolf Wolfie posted, which is if happiness and optimism were the ultimate human value and goal, there would have been no technical or cultural progress. So does anyone agree or disagree with that statement at all? So about happiness and optimism being one of the ultimate human values, that it's not?
Yes, it must be, because if we were fatalist, is that a word that works? Yeah.
Fatalist?
Fatalist,
Fatalism?
Well, fatalism is quite the contrary of optimistic, no?
Oh, no. It means inevitable.
Yeah, but you are optimistic if you think that all things are not inevitable. Like if you are going to die and you think you will not, but it appears you will.
Yeah, it's a submissive attitude. So In that example, you're just like, well, I'm going to die anyway. I might as well.
Yes,
That's the idea. Okay.
that's the idea. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, good. Okay. Sorry, can you explain that a little bit more for
So,
us?
so if you are optimistic, you are now submissive,
Mm-hmm.
and so you will try to make to evolve in a better life. Even if you think even if all people outside other peoples are thinking you can go past some technologies or some you can go further.
Yeah, that's a great point. So you disagree because with a submissive attitude, we would have never had the
Such evolution, yeah.
foresight to evolve. So that is a good human goal to have, happiness and optimism, looking for something better, always trying to improve one's life. That's a great point. Anyone agree or disagree?
I agree with him.
Okay, I hear. Yeah. All right. Why do you agree? And who do you agree with? Wolfie or Frederic, who just spoke?
No, Patrick.
Okay. And why is that?
Because if we have technology and we are optimistic to be open about it, I think it will be, if we use the positive side of it, it will be a good thing, I think.
So once again, just leaving ourselves open, you mentioned that, to new things. All right.
Yeah, but sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay, you can choose and appreciate your life all the time, but you easily accept. But you have to, I mean, you need to be sometimes pessimistic. For progress is important because it's a good way. Because some people needs to make a empathy. Empathy means you need to put yourself in a pessimistic situation to solve pessimistic situation. You just be only follow the optimistic way, you can find solution to the pessimistic problems. You make the empathy to put yourself in the pessimistic situation to solve the pessimistic problems. I hope make it clear myself. I don't know.
Okay, so the word empathy means the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. So say your best friend is dying, and he or she is afraid because they never met their soulmate, so the person they were supposed to be with. And so the idea is that you can empathize with them, you can put yourself in their shoes, and you can understand their feelings. And you really, really understand. It is like you are in that situation.
Not like my friend was like a job. Sorry to cut you. Just like a psychologist, psychologists really needs to make empathy with their, patients.
So actually, no, psychologists are not allowed to empathize. That would be getting too close. They're allowed to sympathize, and that's a difference, which means sympathize. You express your sentiments and opinion for that person. So you do not get attached. Sympathize. So you do not get attached. You express your feelings. Or opinions, and that's what psychologists do. So they have to. Sympathizing is keeping a distance, and empathizing as if you are becoming that person. And then pessimistic is tending to see the worst aspect of things and always believing the worst will happen. So some of your vocabulary, those words are very difficult, which is understandable. A lot of native speakers confuse empathy and, sympathy. I didn't spell it right. Sympathy, because they are very close in meaning. but they are very different. All right. So that's we're at the end of class. So now I just want to leave a few questions or a few minutes open for questions on some words that you found within the stories that you wanted to discuss, because I know there may have been some slang or some phrases that were new for us. So did anyone find any words or phrases that they wanted to ask me about before we end class? And once again, we read number 16, the cookie thief, and number 20, positive thinking. So what about junk? That was one of the words that they used. Junk. Can anyone help us out here? I can give us the sentence.
Junk food.
Yes. Bad thoughts.
It's like trash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Trash. What about when we say junk food?
Also, it means bad food or bad food.
Yeah, trash. Junk food. Yeah, junk food is unhealthy food. So like a hamburger, as Wolfie mentioned. McDonald's.
French fries.
Yeah, anything like that. Junk food.
Burger
Okay.
King, McDonald's, Domino's. There are many.
What about fragments? The word fragments.
Pieces.
Mm-hmm. Pieces. And how do we spell that pieces? Is it P-E-A-C-E-S or P-I-E-C-E-S?
Ah,
P.I.
Yeah, so it's the P-I. All right. And so what does P-E-A-C-E mean? C-E mean? Ooh, the second one
it's
with the C.
the contrary of war.
Yeah. Yeah, the contrary of war.
And can you pronounce them both and teach the difference?
We have peace and peace. They're the same.
They're the same. Okay.
Pieces, piece.
And so in the plural, we have pieces, but usually we don't have
Plural of piece.
plural. Yeah, I just typed it because we don't have plural pieces with P-E-A. Okay. I'm just scrolling through and seeing if there's any other words that I wanted to go over. Oh, our first sentence here. Jerry was the kind of guy you love to hate. So Jerry was the kind of guy you love to hate. And we use this expression a lot to describe people.
He is always saying the true things. Or
Okay, so he's
I don't
always...
know.
Yeah, sort of. What does it mean to love to hate? It's very contradictory, so it's a little difficult to understand.
I suppose it means that it is very easy to hate him because always is happy and it's kind of easy to I don't know.
Yeah. So it's easy to hate
yeah.
Jerry because of how nice he is.
Yeah.
So it's a way to describe your jealousy. Who's a good? I can't think of another good example at the moment, but a lot of times people will say like, "I love to hate," Myra because she is so well dressed, and they'll add like, so they love to hate you because they love you because you're so well dressed, but they hate you because you're so fashionable and they want to be fashionable. So it's that idea of jealousy. And there's always some, usually a silly reason between it. Okay, so confident and confident. So a confident feeling is a feeling of confidence. in yourself. So you feel self-assured. And then the noun with an A, I'm pretty sure your second one should have an A, is someone you confide in. So confident with an A. Is someone you tell your secrets to. Your secrets to. And then confident is self-assured. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so you guys did awesome today in class. I hope you have a good night.